Senator, it's great to have you on a busy day. You're not supposed to be working on a Saturday. It's good to have you. The House passed it by one vote, and they've asked the Senate to not tinker with it too much, or he might have a problem getting it passed himself. Tell us, where does it stand right now in your conference with you and your 52 other colleagues? Do you expect things to actually get underway today and not have to be adjourned without a food fight?
Well, Rob, great to be with you. And yeah, we're going to go into session at 2 o'clock, and I think we'll get things going here. We need to have the vote on the motion to proceed to the House bill, and then there's 20 hours of debate equally divided between Republicans and Democrats. And it is my hope that we get going and we keep going until we get it done. And I expect that would go, well, at least through tonight and, potentially into tomorrow, but we need to get it done this weekend.
When do your eyes start to roll? After about 2 hours of listening to that?
I've been listening to it for 6 months. We've been going through this. We've had more than 50 meetings. We've debated every aspect of this bill many different times, many different ways. Everybody's had their say. It's just how many times. But I mean, that's the process. Everybody keeps pushing for what they want in the bill or out of the bill right up until the end. And so that's the drama you see, particularly on a bill that's this consequential and this important. This really is about putting President Trump's agenda into place, something that the people of this country voted for. And so we need to get this bill done.
So there was a lot of controversy, some fake news stuff, too, about Medicaid and the reductions that were proposed. I guess the Democrats are in favor of me and you paying for lazy, able-bodied, childless adults and illegal aliens. But the big, beautiful bill, apparently, your version, it added, $25 billion or $25 billion, I think, right, to support rural hospitals, which was a sticking point. So where does it stand right now, specifically on Medicaid? And why don't you just torpedo some of the rumors that have been going around?
Well, really, it's about addressing waste, fraud, abuse, making sure that people who should have Medicaid get it. And if you're an able-bodied young adult, that you ought to be working and that states shouldn't game the system. I mean, it's a 90% federal funded, 10% match. The states should at least put up their 10%. So it's about making sure that Medicaid is sustainable, that the people who need it get it. If you're able to work, you do. And that, over the long term, we have to root out waste, fraud, and abuse, or we're not going to have that program for the people that need it. And in addition, as you just mentioned, we set up a fund for rural hospitals that's going to help them. I come from a rural state that will benefit our rural hospitals. So again, it's about getting things done the right way. And then when you combine that with the tax cuts, the economic growth, securing the border, defense of our nation, energy dominance, hey, this really is what Americans want, what they voted for, and what President Trump has, said from the start, and he's led the way forward. And that's why it's so important that both in the Senate and the House, we get on board and get her done.
So do you think that the House can live with what you pass? Will they make the changes and you guys come together and they can live with this, you think?
We have been communicating with them all the way through. So the answer is yes, I think they can. For example, yesterday we were with Speaker Mike Johnson, who, by the way, is an incredible leader. He's not only a tremendous leader, but he's just a great guy. I mean, when you're around him, he's one of those people that just makes you feel good. He's pulled a rabbit out of his hat on the House side, I don't know how many times, but he was with us for 3 hours yesterday, going through all this, whether it's SALT or these other provisions. So, I believe that we've worked very hard to get to something that not only we can pass here in the Senate, but that can pass the House as well.
Let me go over to the Middle East for a second, right? So last Saturday night, the United States unleashed Operation Midnight Hammer on Iran, where the B-2 jets, they dropped the bunker bombs on the nuclear facilities. Some Democrats are disputing the effectiveness of the strikes. I mean, look, nobody knows exactly really what happened, how much damage, but let's just say they've been put back for months or years, definitely. In your estimation, what are the capabilities of Iran's nuclear facilities from what you've been told right now?
Well, I believe we absolutely devastated their capabilities. And it's not just the nuclear program itself, it's their ballistic missile program, it's their scientists, it's their leadership. It would take them years to try to recreate what they had in place before. And obviously, incredible work by Israel, incredible work by our military, incredible leadership by President Trump. And remember, this didn't just happen, just that strike. We've been working on this for months, working with Israel, taking out Hamas's capabilities, Hezbollah's capability. You saw what we did with the Houthis. Those are all militias of Iran, funded, trained, and directed by Iran. So taking down all that was precursor to taking out Iran's nuclear program, which we absolutely needed to do for the safety of the world. And it's going to change the dynamic in the Middle East. I think it's been incredibly important in terms of our adversaries like Russia and China as well. And the final point is this. Given that we've shown we can completely take out their program, are they really going to try to rebuild this thing just the way it was? Because then we'll just take it out again. So for the first time, Iran's forced to actually come to the table and negotiate, and we need to be tough. That means biting sanctions and verifying anything that they agree to in this negotiation.
I want to ask something that, it definitely would help North Dakota and a lot of other rural states, but the House passed a bill, the Agricultural Risk Review Act, that would increase scrutiny of farmland purchases by foreign governments like China, Iran, North Korea, and Russia, which is happening. I mean, Chinese entities alone own more than 383,000 acres of U.S. farmland. And, it just happens to be near military bases. I mean,
Right.
the enemy is within already. Do you see this bill passing in the Senate?
Yes, and as you may know, we've had experience with that with our Grand Forks Air Force Base in North Dakota. In fact, I am a co-sponsor on a bill with Mike Rounds of South Dakota. We were governors together back in the day. Now we work together here in the Senate. And we have a bill to do exactly that, and that is to really to say, no, the Chinese cannot be buying our farmland. As you know, the PRC, the Communist Party, directs everything that happens over there. And as you say, in some cases, it's even near our military installations as well. So absolutely, we need to have, we're working on that. We've passed some legislation on that. We need to do more.
And real quickly, I know there was another thing that was important to you, too. The Iron Dome in Israel, which worked amazing, right? It was terrific. You're proposing a Golden Dome in the U.S. that's being proposed by you and others. Where does that stand? And tell us real quickly what it is, too.
Yeah, along with Dan Sullivan, my colleague from North Dakota, Kevin Kramer, and others, we're putting forward at President Trump's request. He's leading the way on this, but we're taking all the things we're doing, whether it's in space, whether it's on hypersonics, missile defense, all these things, all these systems that we're developing that have utility in and of themselves, both to protect the homeland and in an offensive capability. And we're putting those together in an integrated way to create a Golden Dome, which would be our version of what you've seen with Israel and the Iron Dome. By the way, people may not realize it, but we helped develop Iron Dome for Israel. That was a joint venture with the United States.
Well, enjoy listening to Chuck Schumer and Cory Booker and the rest of them for a good 10 hours or whatever it's going to end up being. But Senator from the great state of North Dakota, John Hoeven, it's good to have you. Thank you again.
Thanks, Rob. Good to be with you.
All right.